Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Essentials for this class. Today, there's two things that I wanted to accomplish. The first thing is that yesterday you were given this law of cosine assignment, and it's a lot of questions. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just pick three questions in here. I'm gonna pick three questions from this law of cosine assignment, go over them, and then move on to our lesson for sine law and cosine law applications. So this not a hand in, sorry, this is not a hand in assignment, this is practice. These practice questions are found in our blog. I posted the full solution. Okay, so this is just the first page. I posted the full solutions, but I would like to go over some of these questions just in case. So the questions, the law of cosine practice questions. Practice questions. That was posted yesterday. I'm going to go over question number 9. Okay, question number 9. I'm going to go over question number where's it? Question number 16. Okay. So just these two questions that I'm going to go over today. Okay. So in terms of question number 9, the full solution, like I said, is on the blog right away. It's on there right now, but I just want to discuss this. So this is what it looks like. Okay, so what the question is asking is to solve for measure of angle A. So there's a little m there on the page. Basically, it just says measure of angle A. So how big is angle A, which is right over here. Now, when we look at this one in here, we can see a sandwich triangle, right? I call it sandwich because the angle is sandwiched between the two sides. So when we have this one in here, when we talked about this last time, we said that when you have a sandwich, we are going to be searching for side A. Okay, so in this particular case, we have side A that we could figure out. That's not the question that they're asking for. So what we're going to do is this is going to be a two-step question. So first, solve for side A. Okay, and that's the only thing that we could do, solving for side A, because we have that sandwich phenomenon going on in here. So how do we, actually not side A, side C. Side C. So how do we do this one here? I know the formula says solve for A, but what we have here is we can solve for C. This information in here, just going to use a different color pen. To solve for side C, we have these two sides. Okay, so we're going to write down the two sides, which is 29 squared plus 28 squared minus 2 times. Okay, so we follow the formula in here. Instead of A, we're solving for C. So square this side plus square this side minus 2 times 29 times 28. So these two are the same number. It's just that not squared. Cos of the angle in between, which is 52 degrees. Okay, so now that we have that, I have to make sure that my calculator says degree mode. So this says degree mode. I just type it in the way I see it. So it's 29 squared plus 28 squared minus 2 times 29 times 28 times cos of 52. I'm going to come up with c squared being 625.165766641. Now that's not the size of that one because this is c squared, not c. So the next step that we're going to do is to do the square root on both sides. Okay, so once we take the square root, I can just see c squared becomes now c because the square root and squaring cancel each other out. They're opposite operation or function. Now, this, I'm not going to round this off right away. This is not my final answer. So I can just take the same, all of these decimals, take the square root of that, okay, square root of the answer, and I'm going to get 25. Okay, so we said that this part here is 25. This is 25, whatever that unit is. They didn't tell us what unit it would be, but so that's okay. Now that we have that, we'll see that we now have a complete ratio. We now see the complete ratio of side and then the angle. What we're trying to do is solve for angle A. So in this particular case, we actually have two possibilities. We can solve for angle A using cosine law formula because we have side, side, side. Or we can solve for angle A using a sine law. So it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we can use solve. We can solve for angle A using either sine law or cosine law. Okay, so how do we do that? I'm just going to show you how to do that using sine law. Sine law. So in terms of sine law, when we learned about sine law, we said we need to have a complete pairing of side and angle. So this one here is a complete pairing of side and angle. So the side first, the 25, divided by the sine of the angle, which is 52, equals side first, which is 29, divided by the sine of angle A. We're solving for angle A, so we have to cross multiply. So once we cross multiply, we're going to get 25 times the sine of A equals to 29 times the sine of 52. Okay. What we're going to do in this particular equation is we're going to isolate the angle A. So that means we have to divide both sides by 25. Divide both sides by 25. So we're left with sine of angle A. Sine of angle A is whatever that is. So 29 times sine 52 divided by 25. And then we're going to get a decimal value of 0.914092474. We're not going to round off anything in here. Okay, we're going to keep all the decimal because this is not the final answer. This is a sine of the angle. So the final step is to get rid of the sine. And to get rid of the sine, we need to do the sine inverse. Sine inverse, both sides. So now A is equals to the sine inverse of this number. So I still have all of the decimals there. I can just go sine inverse. My answer equals 66 degrees. 66 degrees. Okay. So you can go 66 degrees. It depends on the question. If they ask for 2 decimal places, it's going to be 66.08 degrees. Okay, so that's one way of solving for angle A. Like I said, we could do another strategy, which is using the cosine law. So after we figured out the side here, side C, which is 25, we can use the cosine law to solve for angle A. So angle A, so cosine of angle A is equals to B squared plus C squared minus A squared divided by 2 times B times C. Here's what you could think about. So if this is the angle A that you're looking for, it could be angle A, it could be angle B, angle C. These two, if this is, sorry, A, and then this is A. And these two are going to be just the other two sides. Okay, so in this case, it's B and C. So if this is angle A, at the end here is going to be side A. So let's do that. Cosine of angle A, cosine of angle A, so B would be 28 squared plus 25 squared minus 29 squared divided by 2 times 28 times 25. Now I said last time we're going to put a bracket around it. We're going to put a bracket around the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so that we can tell our calculator that all of these numbers are part of the numerator and then all of these numbers are part of the denominator. So let's do that. Okay, so brackets, type everything in, close the brackets, and then now here, this is the divide, so dividing. Now we're going to get the decimal value, so 0.405714285. Okay. We're going to keep all of the decimal values. What we're going to do next is to get rid of the cosine. Okay, so to get rid of the cosine, we need to take the cos inverse. Cos inverse. So the cos inverse and cosine will cancel each other out. So we're left with angle A. So let's try that. So cos inverse of the answer, I'm going to get 66 degrees as well. Okay, so as you can see here, just to take a look at this one in here, the first thing that we did was we have a sandwich here. Like I call it sandwich because the angle is sandwiched between the two sides. So the very first thing that we got to do is to solve for this opposite side from that angle. So we did that, side C. And to do that, we take the square of this side plus the square of this side minus 2 times this and this times the cos of the angle. Okay, so just following that. And then now that we have this, we can go ahead. We can either choose, okay, you're not going to do both. You're going to choose either, I can use the sine law, and this is how I would do it if I use sine law. But I could also use a cosine law, another strategy that we've done because we have 3 sides. Okay, so I can use sine law because I can see pairings. Side and angle. Okay, so I can use sine law because I have that. Or I can say, oh, I can use cosine law because I have all 3 sides given, which we learned when we did that. Okay. So here we go. Now we're going to go to question number 16. We're going to do it very, very quickly. So we can go ahead with our lesson for today. Okay, so this is question number 16. Number 16. Then this is the information that's given. So we're given three sides. 10.4. In this particular case, the question is to solve the triangle. Okay. What does it mean by solving the triangle? Solving the triangle, you're probably thinking, well, which one do I solve? Well, we have to solve for all of the unknown information. Okay, we're going to solve for all of the unknown information. So the unknown information are we got angle A, we got angle B, and we got angle C to solve. Okay, so in this particular case, because we have three sides given, we can solve for angle A using a cosine law. We don't have any other options. No other options because we only have three sides. So only option is cosine law. Okay, now we can use cosine law to solve for A or the B or the C, but in this case, we'll just solve for angle A. So to solve for angle A, how do we do that? Okay, so this is the B, and then this is the C, and then we're looking for this angle. So cos of angle A is equals to B squared plus C squared minus A squared divided by 2 times B times C. So earlier I said that if this is the angle that you're solving for, okay, this is the angle you're solving for, then that means we end with the side that's opposite to that. So if this is angle A, then at the end here it's going to be side A. And then B and C would be the same thing as these ones over here. So let's do that. So cos of angle A, so B squared, B, this is my angle B, so B is 18, plus C squared, so this is my angle C, then that means this is side C, 21.9 squared, minus, this is my angle A, and that's side A, so 10.4 squared, divided by 2 times 18. So this is the same number as that one, times the same number as that one. Put the brackets around. Okay, so 18 squared plus 21.9 squared minus 10.4. I'm going to get 0.8821029993. Okay, so you're going to keep all of the decimals. That's not our final answer. And then finally, we're going to take the cos inverse. Cos inverse, cos inverse. You probably noticed now that if we're looking for an angle, you have to do the cos inverse or sine inverse, whichever you're using. So it's going to be 28.1 degrees, 28 degrees. So angle A is 28 degrees. Okay, now that we know that this is 28 degrees, we have different options. Okay, I can go to do angle B and still use cosine law. I can use cosine law because I have three sides and then solving for angle B, or I can use sine law because I have the complete ratio. So in that particular case, the more information you have, the more possible ways to solve it. Okay, so angle B. Okay, so what did I do? Yeah. So angle B could go here. I can still use angle cosine law if I wanted to. So I'll use cosine law to solve for angle B. Okay, so what does that mean? So if we want to do angle B, so I can go cos of angle B equals 2. Okay, you're probably thinking, what's my formula in here? So my formula would be, remember, if this is angle B, that means I'm going to end up with the B at the end. So this is going to be a squared plus c squared divided by 2 times a times c. Okay. So you can think about that way. Okay, so I'm going to draw it out again here so we can see it. So this is 18, this is 21.9, this is 10.4. We're looking for angle B, which is this one. Okay, so if we're looking for that one, we have this one and this one. Okay, so this is our side B. Side B. So these two are the ones that we need. So cos of B is equals to, you're going to start with this one. Okay, so that becomes 10.4 squared plus 21.9 squared minus the B, which is 18 squared. So all of that being divided by 2 times these exact same two numbers as you seen here. 10.4 times 21.9. Okay. Cosine of angle B is equals to whatever that is. Okay, I'm going to get 0.579052511. Okay, I'm keeping all the decimals. And then finally, I'm going to do the cos inverse to cancel the cos. So I'm left with the B. So I got 55 degrees. Okay, so now I got angle A to be 28 degrees. Angle B would be 55 degrees. I'm left, next thing that I gotta do is angle C. Now, I have so many possibilities for angle C. I could use, for angle C, I can use cosine law again. Or I can use a sine law. And the other possibility is, because I have angle A and angle B, I can use the rule 180 to solve that. So I'm going to pick the easiest one of all. So I'm going to use rule 180. So angle C is 180 degrees minus 28 minus 55. Okay, so we know all of the angles add up to 180. So we know that angle A is 28, angle B is 55. So whatever remains from the 180 will be our angle C. So 180 minus 28 minus 55. And finally, angle C would be the 97 degrees. Okay, so there you have it. I just went over question number 9 and question number 16. I know these are a lot of questions. The full solutions are on the blog, so you can go visit the blog. And you might have different ways of solving things compared to what I have. If you go to the blog, I have some kind of an explanation there, so I'll just show you an example. So here, this is posted on the blog, just to let you know. So this question number 13. I did this, and then I have an explanation. Now that I have this, now I can use this. And now that I have this, I can use this. Rule 180. So you can go check it out and then try it yourself and then double check your work from there. Okay, so now we have about half an hour to talk about lesson 4. We'll go as far as we can in lesson 4, and then we'll see where we go. And we might be able to finish it off tomorrow. Okay, so we'll do lesson 4. Okay, here's my pencil. There it is. So this is the very final lesson on our booklet, lesson 4, which is going to talk about sine law and cosine law. So we use sine law and cosine law to solve problems in a real life situation. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about complementary angles. What does that mean? Complementary angles are two angles that add up to 90 degrees. Complement. So when we have another angle, we can figure out its complement. Okay, what will complete it to make it a 90-degree angle? So in this case here, determine the size of the angle labeled theta. So from here to here is 55 degrees. Then from here to here is how many degrees? So theta is going to be 90 degrees minus 55. So if this is 90 degrees, if I take this away, then I'm left with a theta. So that becomes, okay, so 90 minus 55, so that's going to be 35 degrees. Okay, so that means this is 35 degrees. If I add 35 and 55, that's going to be 90. Okay, they're complementary. Now you take a look at letter B. Angle theta and then 78 degrees. And then here, together, it makes a 90 degrees. So theta is equals to 90 minus 78. So therefore, theta is going to be 12 degrees. Okay, so this is going to be 12 degrees. So 12 plus 78 is going to be 90 degrees. They're complementary angles. Okay, so that's complementary. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is supplementary angles. So what are supplementary angles? Supplementary angles are two angles considered to be, when they add them together, it adds up to 180. So it adds up to 180. And we know that 180 degrees is basically a straight line going from here to there. That's 180 degrees. So over here, we have like a straight line. If this is 122, how much do I need to make it a complete 180? So that would be our supplementary angles. It's going to be theta is equals to 180 minus 122. So this is going to be 58 degrees. So this is going to give us 58 degrees that will make it together as 180 supplement. Now over here, okay, this is the theta, and then this part here is 19 degrees. So how much do I need for theta to make it a supplementary angles? So what is the supplementary angle to 19 degrees? So it's going to be 180 minus 19. Okay. It's going to be 161 degrees. So if this is theta, 161 degrees there. Okay. So why are we doing this? Because we'll see it later. Okay. Now taking a look at example number 3. Tariq sees an airplane flying away from him at an angle of elevation of 23 degrees. Okay. The word elevation is from horizontal looking up. So if we're looking at this from horizontal looking up. So that's 20 elevation. Angle of elevation is when you're looking straight ahead and then eventually looking up. So that's elevation. Elevate means up. So 23 degrees. Hillary, who's 8.2 kilometers away from Tariq, sees the same airplane flying toward her at an angle of elevation of 8 degrees. So this is Hillary. This is the horizontal line. So if she were to look straight, okay, she can see Tariq over here. But then if she looks up, so that's the angle of elevation at 8 degrees. Here's a question. Calculate the distance between Hillary and the airplane. So this is the one that's we're looking for. Okay. So how can we figure that out? What do we know so far? Well, these are the things that we know. Okay. The things that we know are Rule 180. Okay, so in terms of Rule 180, we know that it's angle A plus angle B plus angle C is going to give us always 180 degrees. Okay, and we also have sine law. And in terms of sine law, what's the formula? A divided by the sine of angle A equals to B divided by sine of angle B equals to C divided by sine of angle C. Now, how do we know when to use sine law? How do we know if we have sine law situation? So I'm going to write it down here. Note, use sine law if we have complete pairings of side and angle and angle. So that's how we will know, because the question sometimes is like, do I use sine law or do I use cosine law? Okay. We're going to use Rule 180. Okay. I'll just write it down in here. This one will be part of the notes. So note here, use Rule 180 if we have two angles given and we need the third angle. Okay, so once you know the two angles, we could always figure out the third angle. It doesn't matter. If you have A, and C, we can figure out B, and so on. Okay, now what about the other one? Now, cosine law, we have two possibilities. Okay, so the cosine law, we have A squared equals to B squared plus C squared minus 2 times B times C cos of angle A. Okay, so if this is side A, we end with angle A. So here, if we're solving for A, so side A, cos of angle A. When do we use this? Note, use if we have an angle sandwiched between two sides. Okay, note use if we have an angle sandwiched between two given sides. Okay, so it's easy to figure that out, the word sandwiched. And then we have the last cosine law. It's also cosine law. It's going to be cosine of angle A is equals to b squared plus c squared minus a squared divided by 2 times b times c. So just to kind of point this out, if this is angle A, then we're going to end up with, at the end here, side A. So this is how you can start remembering which one is which, because sometimes we're solving for B, sometimes we're solving for angle C. Okay. And then, so how do we do that? How do I know that I'm using this one? Note, use if we have three given sides. So this is super easy to spot, right? You got three sides that are given. We're going to solve for the angle. Okay. So this is kind of like a review of everything that we've done with all the formula. So going back to this one, if you didn't get all of these stuff written down, it's okay. I will post that on the blog too. So in this particular case, Tariq sees an airplane. This is Tariq. Angle of elevation is 23. Hillary, angle of elevation is 8. They're 8.2 kilometers away. So the question is this one. Which formula? The question is, how am I going to solve for that one? What formula do I use? So let's see. I can I go rule 180, sine law, or cosine law? Okay, so which one should I use? Now, what I could do, can I use sine law? I don't have a complete pairing. So I got this one here, but I don't have a complete pair for that one. I have this angle, but I don't have a complete pair for that one. I have this side, but I don't have a complete angle there. So I cannot use sine law. Cosine law, I don't have the sandwich, and I also don't have all three sides. So what I could probably do, okay, so this is what I'm actually thinking. Okay, so verbalizing what you are gonna do. Oh, I see two angles. I see two angles in here. What I could do is I could use rule 180 to find out the third angle. So first, I see two angles given. I can calculate the third angle. Okay, using rule 180. Okay, so that's a possibility. I can call that theta. Theta is equals to 180 minus 23 minus 8. 180 minus 23 minus 8. So I'm left with 149 degrees. 149 degrees. This part here is 149. Let me write it down. Okay, so that's 149. What else can I do? I still have to solve for this part. What do I see? Oh, now I see that I got a complete ratio here. I got a complete pairing. I got an angle of 149, and this is the side that opens up to that. So I got a complete pairing of side and angle. And then this part here is my half complete pair. So I can solve for that one. So now I see complete pair of side and angle. Okay, so I can use sine law. Okay, so how do I do that? Start with the side. 8.2 divided by the sine of 149 equals x divided by the sine of 23. So we can see here, there's only one information that's unknown. So we're going to cross multiply that. Cross multiply. So we'll see what number we get. It's going to give us 8.2 times sine 23 equals x times sine of 149. Okay, so I still have to solve for x here. I have to get rid of timesing by a sine of 149. So to get rid of that, I have to divide by sine of 149. I gotta do it on this side as well to keep the balance, because this is an equation. So x is alone. Finally, so we've solved for x, and whatever this is, that's what the x value is. So 8.2 times sine 23 divided by sine of 149. So I got 6.22. Okay, so what are we trying to find? The side x in here, 6.22. That's kilometers. Okay, so as you can see here, we had to use two-step approach to figure this out. Okay, I think this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna just finish up example 4 and we'll continue tomorrow. So let's try to do example 4. So example 4, a triangular solar farm in Colorado has sides measuring 23, 34, and 47. Determine the size of the smallest angle contained in the triangle. Now they're saying figure out the smallest angle. So if this is what's given to us, okay, if they don't tell us theta here, how do we know which one is the smallest angle? So the smallest angle faces the smallest side. So smallest angle faces or across the smallest side. Okay, we're not gonna calculate all three angles and figure out the smallest angle. Okay, we're not gonna calculate all of them. That's a waste of our time. So, but if we recognize that, hey, which one would be the smallest angle? It's okay, has to be this one because this is the smallest side. This is the smallest angle. Okay, so how do we figure that out? I'm going to redraw it out in here. 47 meters. Oh, I forgot the 47. This is 23 meters. This is 34 meters. This is theta. Okay, so how can I solve for that angle? Okay, so if you want, so if this is my angle, theta, Okay, I'm going to call it my angle A. This is my side A. So cos of angle A. So when we look at the cosine law, if this is angle A, I know I'm going to end with a minus A squared at the end. Okay, A and then end with an A. So that means this is B squared plus C squared minus A squared divided by 2 times B times C. Okay, so angle A, side A. Okay, let's put those values in. So cos of angle A, it doesn't matter which one's B and which one's C, as long as the A is in the right place. So B, we can, if you want, you can go like this. This is my angle B, this is my angle C. So we can see it. So if this is my angle B, side B is 34 plus angle C, this is my angle C, that means side C is 47 minus 23 squared divided by 2 times B again. B is 34 times 47. I'm going to enter this on our calculator, but I have to put a brackets around it. I'm going to get a 0.887359199. Okay, I'm not going to round off anything because this is not my final answer. And then the final step here is to get rid of the cosine. And then to get rid of the cosine, I have to do the cos inverse on each side. So angle A, I'm going to take my calculator, do cos inverse, the answer, and it's going to be 27.46 degrees. So that's our angle right there. Okay. I think this is a best place to end our notes for today. I guess for today, you can either finish up the practice questions. I'm not going to assign anything yet because we still have to finish all of these examples. We'll probably do that tomorrow. I want to make mention that our test is going to be next week. It's going to be on Thursday next week, which is May 28th. So you can start, doing some review, finishing up the notes, finishing up the questions. Ask questions if you're stuck with something or if you need to clarify something. But our test is going to be on May 28th. That's exactly a week from today. And then we're almost done. Okay? We're almost done. Our last day of classes is June 12th. Okay? So we're super close to getting done. Okay? So there you go. I hope that was good for you. And if you have any questions, please do reach out and send me an email, and then I'll try to get back to you. Okay? Have a good day, everybody. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.